You're listening to New Youth Radio, a show about global culture and local youth.
Today on the show we have Dunja Lukic, and she is the Community Mobilizer at Immigrant Services. So welcome, Dunja.
Thanks, Karen.
So maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you do at Immigrant Services.
Sure. My role as Community Mobilizer at Immigrant Services means that I work on 3 different projects. So right now, for example, the 3 different projects that I'm working on are the one-on-one conversation practice program, where we match up established members of the community in Guelph with newcomers and immigrants wishing to practice their English in an informal and flexible setting. We also have the Youth Leadership Program, which is a project I'm working on with you, Karen. And the final program is called Mobilized, Engaged, Involved. And it's a program that helps to facilitate volunteer placements for newcomers and immigrants out in the broader community.
Is that a new program?
That is a new program. It just started in July and it's funded by the United Way. It's brand new, so we're just kicking it into gear now.
Can you just tell us a little bit more about why, in terms of volunteering, and why you would need to kind of facilitate people finding volunteer placements? Because it seems as though, if you want to volunteer, there's the volunteer center, or, it should be relatively simple to find a volunteer position that you're interested in the community.
Right. For many newcomers and immigrants coming into the community, a lot of things are new. The language is new, the city is new, the people they're meeting is new, everything is new, and they might not know exactly where to search for a volunteering opportunity in the community, or they might not know why volunteering is important to do or what they can stand to gain from it. So while the Volunteer Center is one of our partners in the program, helping us to access the database of volunteer opportunities, at Immigrant Services we're able to help the newcomer and immigrant population in particular find volunteer placements that are relevant to them, to their interests, and to their experience. Volunteering also for newcomers and immigrants is a very valuable way to gain work experience in the Canadian context, to have local references who know them here and can vouch for them with future employers. It's a good way to build a social network in a new city and a new place. And it's also a really great way to get to know the community, to know what's happening in the community, to meet people.
Can anyone volunteer?
Yet the program is open to all newcomers and immigrants regardless of immigration status. So that program is open. You don't have to be any particular category of immigrant to access the service.
I was listening to about the police check. Is that kind of an onerous process for people? Would you say that sort of puts people off volunteering because you have to get your police check? And maybe what are some of the other things that people have to think about?
Oftentimes, a lot of volunteer positions will ask for a police check. Not all. Police checks are usually required for positions where the volunteer is meeting with clients of that organization or is doing responsible tasks like handling money. Now, the police check can be a difficult thing to obtain for some newcomers and immigrants because of how long they have been in the country. Other volunteering positions will ask for things like a driver's abstract if you are going to be doing something like delivering Meals on Wheels, for example. The driver's abstract also can be a bit of a barrier to newcomers and immigrants who don't yet have an established driving history in Canada.
What is it? What is a driver's abstract?
It's basically a record of your driving infractions or any accidents you've had in the past. When you've been licensed, what licenses do you have, what kinds of vehicles you can operate, and so on.
What kind of volunteer positions can people access? Is it sort of based on their interests, or?
The program at this point in time is attempting to match people with volunteer positions that are of interest to them. So for example, if someone is interested in gaining administrative experience or they're interested in reception type work, that's a position that's available at several different organizations that we can put that person in touch with. Other people might be interested to do things outside of their professional or educational background. So for example, they might really enjoy arts and crafts in their spare time, and that's an opportunity that they can be matched up with through the program as well.
And now this is New Youth Radio, so let me ask you, can youth volunteer?
Youth can absolutely volunteer. In fact, I really encourage youth to volunteer. I know that some youth are far beyond their 40 hours that's required of them for graduating from high school, but youth are full of energy and enthusiasm. There are a lot of organizations in the city looking for youth as volunteers, and I would definitely encourage youth to investigate opportunities or get in touch with us at Immigrant Services to learn more.
Yeah, because I guess a lot of youth, and especially when you've just arrived, or if you sort of arrived at that weird space between high school and, you know, post-secondary, or before you're working, this could be a really great opportunity.
Any kind of volunteering experience you can get is a wonderful opportunity. Not only might you learn something new or learn how to do something you didn't know how to do before, but it's also a great chance to meet people in the community, meet people who can give you some more information or open up your eyes to things you didn't realize were possible before. It's just a great way to be involved, to feel a part of things, and also to be a part of how things happen in the city. A lot of volunteering opportunities are available on committees and different kinds of groups that make decisions about what happens in the city.
Now, Dunja, I sense that you've had a lot of volunteer experience as well, especially, you know, going through high school. So maybe you want to take us back a little bit and give us a little sense of how you found yourself here.
My generation graduating from high school was the first one that had to do the 40 hours of community service. And I did a number of things. I volunteered at a day camp at the university. I volunteered for a long time at the International Languages program in the Serbian class on Saturday mornings. I did volunteer work at different community events like the Jazz Festival and the Multicultural Festival. I volunteered at Hillside as well. And all of those opportunities also came with certain perks. Like, for example, volunteering at the Jazz Festival, you get a free ticket to see a show. Or Hillside, you put in a certain number of hours and you're able to access the festival for free. So not only was it neat to be a part of how things happened in Guelph, but it's also, it comes with certain benefits once you've put in your time.
And so maybe we can talk a little bit about the leadership course, because what's great about the leadership course that you're doing is that you actually do get your community hours for that.
Yes.
So can you talk a bit more
For
about
sure,
that?
yeah. So the Youth Leadership Program, which is starting on October the 3rd, that's a Wednesday, it's going to be at Lourdes High School at 4 p.m., so right after class. And the session is 8 weeks long, and the participants will get their community service hours by attending the sessions regularly. We've planned for a number of workshops and interesting talks, discussions, roundtables, particular kind of training.
Yeah, so you'll get community service hours.
You will absolutely get your community service hours.
Why will you get community hours?
You're going to get your community service hours because at the end of the 8-week leadership program, what the youth that are in the program will be doing is coming together to essentially plan and execute a community project. That will be up to the participants to decide. They will have 8 weeks to meet people from different organizations. They will have 8 weeks to undergo different types of training, like a diversity training and leadership skills training as well. That's all going to help to make it easier for them to come together and plan a project together that's based in making our community a better place, or raising awareness about something that they're passionate about, or holding a fundraiser or an event to highlight something that they feel is very important in Guelph.
Is this open to just immigrant youth or newcomer youth, or can...
Karen, I'm really glad you asked, because that program is actually open to high school students from across Guelph. As long as you're in high school, in any high school in Guelph, public or Catholic, newcomer or not, the program is open to all youth.
Is there a reason? Because I mean, really, it's immigrant services, right? So.
That's right. But part of what makes any community a vibrant place to live is the fact that people know each other, that their paths cross, that they're aware of the diversity of the place in which they live, and our youth are no exception to that. It's a wonderful opportunity for newcomer youth and youth that have been living in Guelph for a long time or were born in Canada to come together and work together on something that they feel is really important.
What else can youth look forward to in the program?
Apart from the free snacks?
Yeah, which is actually a big step up. That's great. That is really actually pretty cool. Do you have an idea of the kinds of organizations, or is that sort of hush-hush right now? Is that sort of a surprise?
We're still working on it. I'd prefer to keep things a surprise and make it as exciting as as it can be. So I'm not going to give away too much right now. One thing that I should mention is that not only do you gain your volunteer hours, but the youth that are participating in the program will also come away with the leadership skills certificate, and that's a good thing to include as part of a portfolio or an application for a job and that sort of thing. So it will kind of highlight what you've done in the program.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you know what? You were talking about volunteer activities with perks, which is great. But what about the volunteer activities that you actually, which was the most meaningful to you? The one where you feel you learnt the most, where it benefited you the most in some ways, or where you felt you had the most impact?
Because I spent a long time volunteering at the International Languages program, I felt like that impacted me quite a bit. I went on after high school into an education program at university, and the experiences that I had in the International Languages program, working with a group of kids, learning either their mother tongue, which they didn't know very well, or reinforcing their knowledge. And it's a group of kids from the ages of 4 all the way to 12. So being able to connect with them, see them grow throughout the program, develop some skills as a teacher as well was really crucial to me being able to go on and study education at university as well.
And would you say that experience as well kind of kept you connected to the immigrant community?
Oh, absolutely. I was born in Serbia, and I came here with my family when I was 7. So I've been living here for a very, very long time.
And you were one of those typical immigrant kids who, when you came, could not speak a word of English. Is that true? Or could
Absolutely. I could not speak a word of English. We had just started learning basic English in my grade 1 class before we immigrated. So yeah, not a word of English. It was a tough time, as I think it is for anybody. Whether you're a young kid, a teenager, or an adult, that sense of isolation and frustration when you don't speak a language is relevant no matter how old you are. So I definitely remember that.
And so can you still think back to that time when, were you more vocal in the way that you were, like in terms of your actions, or did you sort of close in and just sort of fade into the background? I
think I was more of the fiery type, and I definitely made it known when I was feeling frustrated. And unfortunately, when you're not understood, sometimes that can get you in trouble, and your actions can be misinterpreted. So I spent a lot of time in timeout in grade 2. But I still speak, read, and write my mother tongue, my home language fluently, and being able to connect with other people from the community and offer that as well to other children who were in the process of learning their mother tongue or needed reinforcement to keep it alive was pretty special.
I feel as though a lot of the kids don't necessarily want to be there. And, I don't know. Were they pretty motivated? Were they?
I think it depended on the day.
Yeah.
On a nice sunny day.
Yeah. Saturday morning is tough. Every Saturday from 9:30 to 12. Or
but it's really worth it. It's absolutely worth it to keep that tie to that language. It's such a rich thing to be able to have, to communicate with your family, to meet people from that place or from other places, to express yourself in a different way. I just think that having another language is really special, no matter how hard and boring those Saturday mornings it may be. It's going to count for something later on.
In terms of what immigrant youth bring to, let's say, for example, the leadership course or to a volunteering experience? I mean, on the one hand, you're getting something, but on the other hand, what are you bringing to the environment as well, do you think? And not just youth, but I guess volunteers in general, newcomer volunteers. What are organizations? How are they benefiting?
What newcomers bring as volunteers is just a very wide array of professional experiences, educational experiences, and their own lived experiences as well. Not to mention that, they speak a number of languages as well.
Is there a kind of youth that you're looking for?
I think that the kind of youth that we're looking for are youth that are, one, committed, two, interested in what happens in Guelph, interested in connecting with other youth and making things happen. So we're looking for youth that are motivated, enthusiastic, have a real interest in making this city a city that's inclusive, that's a good place for youth regardless of their immigration status.
What are some of the challenges that you think that the leadership course addresses that perhaps youth in general and specifically immigrant youth face?
I think that part of being involved in any community for youth means having your voice heard, knowing that somebody out there, the people who are making decisions in the city are listening to you. They know what it is that you need in this city. Part of it too is that, especially with newcomer and immigrant youth, part of what the leadership program is about is being able to act really as advocates for themselves and for their families and for their communities in the city, to gain a knowledge of what happens here, what services are available, what organizations are acting in our community to make it a better place, and be able to share that information with people they know and love.
How can people sign up?
That's a great question, Karen. So one way that might be the easiest is to access the Immigrant Services Guelph Wellington website and click on Youthopia. Also, you can call us at 519-836-2222 and register for the program as well.
Well, thank you very much, Dunja.
Thanks for having me, Karen.
And I'm sure we'll have you on again.
Sounds good.
All right.
So the song I've chosen is by Corneille, and it's called Les Marchands de Rêve, which is a song that deals with issues of immigration, and it's a very inspiring song for anyone that's had to overcome any challenges, especially in arriving in a new place and in a new city.
Dis-leur que le ciel les entend, dis-leur que la chance les attend pour qu'ils rêvent encore. Dis-leur qu'ils n'ont rien fait autant, dis-le aux petits comme aux grands pour qu'ils rêvent plus fort. Si tu descends, dis-leur qu'on n'est pas encore prêt, mais qu'on pense à ça sans arrêt. Et que si on revient, ce sera pas la main ou la tête vide. Dis-leur que l'hiver nous apprend qu'il a raison de nous de temps en temps, et qu'on ne tiendra peut-être plus longtemps. Dis-leur qu'on arrive, dis-leur que tant d'autres nous suivent, dis-leur qu'on n'est plus qu'à quelque part, et qu'on est par milliers, avec ou sans papier, des marchands de rêve, des marchands de rêve, yeah. Dis-leur qu'ils ont droit au bonheur, et qu'un jour ce sera eux les meilleurs pour qu'ils restent dignes. Oh. Dis-leur que demain est à eux, qu'ils fassent à la misère leurs adieux en dépit des signes. Oh, 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 si tu descends, salue le courage de nos femmes, salue la grandeur de leur âme, et tu diras à nos mères qu'on arrive chasser leur chagrin. Oh, oh, tu diras à nos pères qu'on attend qu'ils montrent enfin leur grand drapeau blanc ce qu'ils auraient dû faire depuis longtemps. Oh, 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 dis-leur qu'on arrive, dis-leur que tant d'autres nous suivent, dis-leur qu'on n'est plus qu'à quelque part et qu'on est par milliers, avec ou sans papier, des marchands de rêve. Si nous avons quitté, c'est pour revenir gagnants. Oh, 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 yeah. Si nous avons quitté, c'est pour revenir plus grand. Dis-leur que l'hiver nous apprend et qu'à force de vivre on comprend qu'on ne tiendra peut-être plus longtemps. Dis-leur qu'on arrive, dis-leur que tant d'autres nous suivent, dis-leur qu'on n'est plus qu'à quelque part, qu'on n'est plus qu'à quelque part, qu'on est par milliers, avec ou sans papier, des marchands de rêve, des marchands de rêve. Dis-leur qu'on arrive, dis-leur que tant d'autres nous suivent, dis-leur qu'on n'est plus qu'à quelque part, et qu'on n'est plus qu'à quelque part, qu'on est par milliers, avec ou sans papier, des marchands de rêve, des marchands de rêve. Oh, oh,
Thanks for listening to our show this week. And if you're a youth looking for an exciting opportunity, definitely think about joining the Youthopia Leadership Program starting October 3rd at Our Lady of Lourdes High School. And if you are interested, please feel free to contact Dunja. And once again, that would be at 519-836-2222. We're going to close our show with another fiery personality, Anna Popovic. She was born in Belgrade, but now lives in Memphis, Tennessee, and is a great blues guitarist and singer. Here's her track, Hold On.
The place I was raised was poisoned. Power in dangerous hands. All life long, we paid a price of exclusion as inheritance. Entering the embassy, caught up forever, down red tapes, sent away, not accepted. I'm not from the United States. Priorities and privilege are given arbitrarily. Others, like me, are deemed to be the enemy. Oh, 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 oh. Hold on. Hold on. identify? How long is it to crucify? Hard to identify. How long is it to crucify? Hard to identify.